What is up YouTube? Hope you're having a really good day today, wherever you are in this world. My name is Ben, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about how to create a Sudoku puzzle book interior. Now, this video was inspired by my last one, the how to create the word search book interior for absolutely free. And that video absolutely blew up. YouTube's telling me it's the most viewed video for the amount of time it's been up. And of course, you guys have been commenting on it saying that you found it really helpful. So we're going to be continuing on that trend with a very similar video in this one, how to create a Sudoku puzzle book. And again, this is going to be an absolutely free method as well. And also, it is actually a very new one. This wouldn't have been possible until a recent update that Canva did. So this might be a method you've never seen before. And of course, I'm going to also be talking about why you should be publishing Sudoku books. And if you stay to the end, I'm going to give you a few tips on the kind of keywords that you want to be using with your Sudoku book should you choose to publish one. So if you did like this video, hit the like button for me. It helps out more than you think. If you do like videos like this on self-publishing, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon to be notified whenever I bring out videos like this one. And of course, if you're new to self-publishing or you're not seeing the sales that you want with your low content publishing business, then go ahead and check out my free 2-hour tutorial here on YouTube. It's linked in the top right hand side of this video if you are interested. But without further ado, guys, let's get started into this video. So firstly, I'm going to talk briefly about what Sudoku is for those that don't know. So Sudoku is a math puzzle game that looks kind of like this. You get an incomplete grid here that you need to fill with numbers. Now, the rules are actually fairly simple for Sudoku. Basically, you have to fill in the numbers so that each row, each column, and each box contains the numbers 1 to 9 and one of each digit. So it will contain the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So in any given row, any given column, or any given box, the numbers don't repeat themselves. And you use this rule to help you solve the Sudoku puzzle. So essentially, if we look at this example here, you can see that the 7 is here in the middle, the 7 is here there, and the 7 is here as well. So what that means, if we wanted to fill the 7 in this box here, we know that 7 cannot go in this row here because there's already a 7 in the row. You see there's a 7 here as well. So in this column, a 7, another 7 can't go in there. So we can cross out these boxes as to where the 7 can go. And you see there's a third 7 here, so it can't go in this box as well. So by the power of deduction, the only place the 7 can go is here. And remember that in each box, there's one of each number from 1 to 9. So a 7 has to go in this box somewhere. But because it can't go in these squares here, it must go in this one here. And that is how you would solve a Sudoku puzzle book. They vary in difficulty as well. The easier ones generally tend to have more numbers already filled in there, and the harder ones have less numbers filled in there. So you have to use a little bit more guesswork. But that is the premise of how a Sudoku works. If we have a look in Amazon as to how well they are doing, so I don't really need to add too much here. You can let the results speak for themselves. We've got the top one here with the bestseller badge. We've got a really good BSR here as well. The BSR is the bestsellers rank and tells us how well the book is doing. So a 4-figure BSR is a really good BSR for a book in general. And if you scroll down, there's quite a few examples of different Sudoku books doing really well. There's a lot of ways you can differentiate your Sudoku book in the market as well. You can see that this one here, for example, has chosen to go from easy to hard. So the Sudoku book will start off easy and go harder. There's some here, for example, this one, which has chosen to do a lot of Sudoku puzzles in their book. So this one's got 3,000 puzzles and in turn is charging a lot more. So $15 for their book. A lot of them will say hard print, large print as well for people who may be short-sighted, like elderly people, for example. There might be some travel edition ones, which is a smaller type of book, maybe a 5 by 8 inch, so they can easily put it in their bag and carry it on their commute to work, for example, as opposed to these bigger books here. And there's a lot of other ways you can differentiate your Sudoku book. So if we just grab a book that is doing really well, so we're just going to grab this one by Funster, for example. We can have a look at the helium-10 graph here just to see how well it's been doing over time. And you can see that last Christmas, it did even better than it is doing now. So we can expect an increase in sales of this book still as we come into November and December. If we have a look at the keywords that this book is ranking for, we can see that up there is the Sudoku puzzles for adults with a search volume of 10,000, Cerebro IQ score 1,800. So this is a measure of supply and demand. That number is fairly good. The higher the number, the better here. And of course, a search volume of 10,000 is also good. As you can see, probably not quite as good as crossword puzzle books for adults at 21,000, but this type of book is considerably harder to make than the Sudoku book, especially the way I'm going to show you in this video. So now we know that the Sudoku book is doing well. Let's go ahead and talk about how we're going to be making this Sudoku book. So to create our Sudoku puzzle book, first, we need to decide on what type of Sudoku puzzle book we're going to be making. So for the purposes of this video, we're just going to be taking inspiration from this one here. So the two main points of this one is that it has 1,000 Sudokus in there, and it goes from easy Sudokus to hard Sudokus. So when you start off in the book, they're going to be easy, and every 200 Sudokus or so, they're going to get harder until at the very end where they're really hard to do. So that's the type of Sudoku book we're going to be making. Now we've got that in mind, we're going to head over to the Sudoku generator that we're going to be using, and that is called the Open Sky Sudoku generator. So I'll leave a link for this website in the description below. But essentially it's a very, very simple interface here. We've only got 4 settings that we can change here. If you saw my video on the word search, how to create the word search, then there was a lot more settings to go through and everything like that. But with this one, super simple. For the number of puzzles that we're going to be generating, we're going to be typing in 48 here. There's a maximum of 50, but you'll see why it's 48 a little bit later in this video that we're going to be using. For the puzzles per page, we want to select 4 here. The difficulty, now this is important, we're going to start off with easy, and of course we want to include the solutions, and that is everything, guys. So once you've got these settings, you're just simply going to press go, and this website will generate a PDF and download it straight onto the computer for you. Now once you have that PDF, now we're going to go and head over to Canva. So Canva is another website. It's a free graphic design website. All you need to do is create an account, and once you've created an account, you'll be presented with a home screen that looks like this. So now all we're going to do is press create a design, this button right here in the top right, and we're just going to select this one here, not custom size, but import PDF. And as you can see, it's in its beta, which I was talking about at the start of this video. It's a very new feature, and this video would not be possible if it was not there. So we're going to click on that, and we're going to click on the Sudoku that we've just generated from OpenSky. So we're going to click on that, and what that will do is it will load the PDF onto your designs. And once it's loaded, you can go ahead and click on it, and let me move my face here. And what you will see is something that looks like this. Now, the import process is not perfect, but it is a massive shortcut from what you used to have to do with this website before this new import feature became available on Canva. So you've got your Canva looking like this. Now, just to correct everything, you can see how the numbers are slightly skewed here. Just to correct everything, you're going to select these grids, click on the grid here, press the lock button, click on this grid, press the lock button, click on the 3rd grid, lock button, click on the 4th grid, press the lock button. And once you've locked those 4 grids, what you're going to do is just select absolutely everything in the sheet and press the down button twice. And what that does, it will center absolutely everything. And now we can get rid of this bottom thing here as well, generated by OpenSky. And we can edit these titles as well. So instead of having this difficulty rating here at the top, we just want to remove them for every single puzzle. Puzzle 1, Puzzle 2, Puzzle 3, Puzzle 4. And that is pretty much how you do it in a nutshell, guys. So what we can do is we can edit the font as well to make it super unique as well. That's Times New Roman at the moment, but if we wanted a nice modern font, we can go with this Montserrat, for example. There you go. And that is pretty much how you go about and create the pages. So 4 puzzles per page. You do want to make sure that we're within the margins of the page. For KDP purposes, you want to use the margin, but I believe that is absolutely fine at this point. Now it's the same story with the solutions. It may look a little bit daunting to begin with, but there is a shortcut for this. We're just going to zoom in a little bit, and instead of clicking them one by one, you can just drag the very bottom of the grids and lock 3 at a time, just like that. So we're just going to go underneath. Make sure we don't go across the numbers as well. Again, it's a little bit fiddly, guys, but it is a much better process than it used to be. So there we go, and just right at the bottom we're going to drag across. Be careful not to go over the numbers, and then just lock them. So we've now locked all 12 grids, and now we can do exactly the same as last time. We're going to want to highlight absolutely everything, and we're going to zoom in a little bit, and then we're just going to go press the down key twice once again, and you'll see that everything is now centered, and we've got our solution page looking very nice. Again, just get rid of this thing here at the bottom, and then just get rid of these little difficulty ratings, and before you know it, you have a very clean looking solutions page. So now we have our Sudoku pages and our solutions on lock. Now we can go ahead and repeat that whole process. This process to do the first 48 takes around 10 minutes once you're used to the whole process, and you can just do that repetition without thinking too much about it. Now, if we do want to get to 1,000 Sudokus, then of course we're going to need to make a couple of these. So we've got the first 48 here on lock. We just want to go back onto OpenSky and then generate the next 48. And you can see why we've chosen 48 here, because if we had chosen 50, for example, then we would get 2 extra solutions here on this next page, and it wouldn't be a full page of solutions. So we'd have to do a lot more editing, which would in turn take a lot more time. So that's why we chose 48 instead of 50. So having said that, let's go back onto OpenSky and then generate another 48 in easy again. So we want to generate 4 in easy to make 1,000 word searches in increasing difficulty. We're just going to press go again, and then that's going to download for us, and we're going to do exactly the same thing. We're going to go straight back onto Canva. We're going to create a design here at the top, and we're just going to press that import PDF down here in the right, and once you click that, just going to upload that Sudoku PDF. Wait for that to upload, and once it's uploaded, we're going to go ahead and edit that again. So the only difference with this one being that you'll need to start the numbering from 49 instead of 1. And this is important. Obviously, if you're making 1,000 Sudokus in a book, then you're going to need to number it from 1 to 1,000. Fortunately, this software only numbers it from 1 to 48 each time. So with this next batch, we're going to have to change the numbering on top of the other tasks, which are locking the grids and then moving everything down 2 spaces and getting rid of this difficulty rating here. But we can still make it a smooth, easy process. So with removing that difficulty rating, we're just going to change the number there as well. So repeat puzzle 50, puzzle 51, and then puzzle 52. And just like that, you've again got yourself a nice Sudoku. If you want to make it a little bit quicker as well, just leave the font as it is. You don't want to change it to a different font if you want this process to be as smooth as possible. And then you can power through these again, whilst listening to your favorite music, podcast, whatever. And within a good amount of time, you will have your next 48 Sudokus ready. And you're just going to keep on repeating this process until you have the desired amount of Sudoku. So very simply, in the case for our book where we want 1000 Sudokus, going from easy to very hard, you can go back onto OpenSky and you're going to want to do around 4 with difficulty easy. So you're just going to download them 4 times, and then medium 4 times, hard 4 times, and then very hard 4 times. And that should bring you up close to 1000 Sudokus. Now, once you've processed all of them within Canva, then what you're going to want to do is just rename them up here, 1 to 48 in this case. For this one here, 49 to 96. Obviously, I haven't downloaded it 16 times, but you will, and you're just going to keep renaming them. So the next one will be 97 to 144, for example, and so on and so on and so on. And once you've renamed them, you're just going to download them in PNG format. So download this one here in PNG format, this one here in PNG format. And what we're going to do is head over to PowerPoint with these PNGs. So open up your Microsoft PowerPoint or Google Slides if you don't have PowerPoint. We're going to select a new blank presentation, get rid of this thing here, and we're just going to go on page setup so that it says 8.5 by 11. And that should format our sheet to make it the same size as the PNGs we're downloading. So now what we want to do, click on this side bit here and then just copy and paste that so we have around 250 sheets here in our presentation. And it does take a while, but eventually it will get to around 250. So we're just going to keep on pasting that until we have 250 slides. So once you've got 250 slides, what we're going to do is scroll back up to the top. So we're back onto slide number 1 here. And then we're going to just open our folders we've just downloaded. So there should be zip files in your downloads folder. Just open them up by clicking on them so that now they're folders, and click on 1 to 48. And what we're going to do is just copy and paste the PNG images. You just click on slide number 2 and then copy and paste straight into that slide and repeat the process. So number 3 next, number 4, and keep on doing this until you have your pages in numerical order. Now, of course, with the answers, you're not going to paste the answers in order. You're going to paste the answers at the very end. So if I pretend this was my last page with puzzle number 1000, so I've literally just copied and pasted hypothetically everything into PowerPoint here, and we've completed it. We're on puzzle 1000, and now our answer page is here. Then we're going to go back onto page the PNGs for 1 to 48, and then we're just going to start with the answers. So here you can see puzzle 1 answers, and then we're just going to continue going across puzzle 13 and copying and pasting as such. So what you will have is a load of pages with the questions on them, the Sudokus, and then the answers following straight after the questions. So puzzles 1 to 1000 up to here, and then the answers following straight on after that as so. And that should, for a 1000 Sudoku book, be around 250 to 300 pages. I can't do the maths off the top of my head, but it should be around the 250 to 300 page mark for 1000 Sudokus. Now, 1000 Sudokus is fairly extreme, and if you do want it to be done a little bit quicker, of course you can outsource it. I'm just showing you the free method here, and this is how I used to do it as well when I didn't have so much money and I needed to do everything myself. So that is pretty much it in a nutshell, guys, how we go about making this Sudoku book. Of course, the very final thing is about the keywords for Sudokus as well. So if you want to go about making a Sudoku puzzle book, then of course you want to know this regarding the keywords for Sudoku. So this is best explained with our keyword research software here. So I showed you this towards the start, the Sudoku puzzles for adults, which was the biggest search volume keyword there was for Sudoku. But if we scroll down, you'll actually see that another really good ranking keyword is, I think on the second page here, this thing here, look, Sudoku book for adults, but you'll notice it's actually misspelled. So Sudoku spelled here, and then again it's misspelled differently here, Sudoku for adults. And you'll still see the search volume for these are actually fairly high for a misspelling, and the Cerebro IQ score is just as good as that other keyword I showed you at the start. Now if we just go onto Amazon and then copy this and then type this in on the search bar at the top, Sudoku for adults, you can see that the search results are actually completely different here. And it says, did you mean Sudoku for adults? So if we click on that, the results are different. Now this one here is at the top instead of this one. So the search results are actually different if you misspell Sudoku. So what you do want to do is put them in the keywords. Amazon does say it's useless to put misspelling in the keywords, but honestly, because it's showing different results and it's getting a high search volume for it, that misspelling, then you do want to incorporate it somewhere. But if not, you can also advertise against it. So instead of just advertising for Sudoku spelled correctly, you can also advertise specifically these keywords here, like Sudoku for adults and Sudoku books for adults here, because they're doing so well in their own right. So that's something to bear in mind. A lot of people are misspelling Sudoku, and it's got its own search results in its own right. So you want to incorporate these misspellings somewhere when you go ahead and publish your book. Just not in the title or the subtitle, because then it will look a little bit silly, but anywhere like your keywords or your advertisements, and then therefore your book will have a lot more visibility. So that's my top tip for the keyword there when you go ahead and publish your Sudoku book. Of course, if you have any questions about the whole process as well, I know it's been a long one, I know it's been a little bit tricky to explain, so if you do have any doubts, any questions, etc., go ahead and comment them below. I'll try my best to respond to everyone. Otherwise, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, hit the like button for me. If you're not yet subscribed, what are you doing? Please do ahead and subscribe. Otherwise, I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you again, guys. Have a great day.